Hey everybody, it's Beth. Today I'm using these tags and fabric from Dollar Tree and this little garden stake from Joann's. I removed the hanger from the tags and I'm taking each one and tracing it out onto the different fabrics. Next I'm taking Mod Podge and I'm applying a generous layer to each of the tags and then placing down the fabric, smoothing it out with my hands. Now you can iron the fabric ahead of time. It does make the cutting it a little bit easier and the tracing, but you don't need to. Once you place it down and you smooth it onto the Mod Podge, it kind of smooths it out and takes away any of the creases on there. Once those are both placed down, I use my heating tool to dry the Mod Podge. And then once that's completely dry, I do an outer layer of Mod Podge to the front of the fabric, drying that with my heating tool as well. Now you can let those air dry. It would just take quite a bit longer, or if you don't have a heating tool, a hair dryer works really well too. Once that's completely dry, I cut off any excess fabric. I then take this little needlepoint tool that's from Dollar Tree. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I push that through the holes that are at the top of the tags. I then take some twine, just use a small screwdriver to push that through those holes, and then make a little hanger on the top. Just knot it and cut off the excess. I then take the garden stake that I got from Joann's and kind of just wiggle that stake from the back of it and pop that off. Then take a tumbling tower block from Dollar Tree and hot glue that to the back of it. And then I didn't notice at first, but it does have this little hanger on the top of that as well. So I just removed the little piece sticking off of that and then put some hot glue and flap that down to hold that into place on the back. And then put some hot glue on the tumbling tower block and place that down on one of the tags. And then set those aside and took some different ribbons I got from all different places. I used at least 5 different designs. This one I ended up using 6, so it's a little bit fuller. I take each ribbon and I'm pinching it in the center of the ribbon and crisscrossing them back and forth between my fingers and just keeping that nice and tight in the center, alternating the patterns. I do like using wired ribbon for this. It just makes the bow able to be fluffed out better and stay into place. And I used 1.5-inch ribbons and 2.5-inch ribbons, and the 2.5-inch ones I just cut in half, and I'll need 4 of each pattern. Once I have it all full, I add some twine and wrap that around to the back and tie a couple knots, keeping that nice and tight. Cut off the excess and then fluff out all of the ribbons. And this burlap mesh ribbon, I kind of just rolled the ends of that so it didn't look so tattered on the ends. And it just gave it a really cool look. And then spread out the rest of the ribbons and cut off any pieces that were too long. I don't typically measure the ribbon length, but they're about 6 inches. I then hot glued the 2 tags together how I wanted them placed and hot glued the bow over to the left side on that left tag. And that is it for this project. Thank you so much for watching.